Hello, I'm James Harvey, the professor of music theory at the College of Southern Nevada with 5-Minute Music Theory. We'll start the timer, and this is going to be the first in a small series of videos on cadences. Now, cadences are musical punctuation. Cadence singular, cadences plural. And just like I said, they're the equivalent of punctuation in language. And cadences are important because they are what determine phrases. And we're going to start by talking about sort of a common and very simple kind of cadence called the authentic cadence. But before I talk about that one, let me mention that all cadences consist of two chords only. So there's one chord, and there's the preparatory chord, and then there's the resolving chord of the cadence. Now, sometimes you might have a cadential 6/4, which is involved. And remember, the two chords that make up the cadential 6/4 are treated as one. So it's still technically two chords when that happens. But the first cadence that we're going to talk about is actually a vague, not even specific kind of cadence. It's kind of the first category, and then there's a couple branches that split off from here. And it's abbreviated as EC, which stands for authentic cadence. Authentic cadence. Now, an authentic cadence is just something that has a dominant function. Now remember, dominant, there's a few different chords that have dominant functions. That goes to a tonic chord as the end of a phrase. Now that doesn't mean that every time that a dominant goes to a tonic, it's going to be a cadence. It needs to be a moment of rest. It's just like in the middle of a sentence, I wouldn't just stop like that. That doesn't make sense. I need to get to the end of the sentence. And then there's different kinds of punctuation. There's the period at the end of a sentence. There's a comma, like what would have just been what I just said. And there's a lot of musical equivalents to these. So this sort of cadence is, like I said, a very vague type. And there's actually two kinds of authentic cadences. The next two videos are going to cover these two types. But just remember that the dominant chords are both the dominant triad and the leading tone chord. And then the tonic chord is the only one that can actually perform a tonic function. Whether you're major or minor, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to be a tonic function. So simply put, an authentic cadence is just a dominant function to a tonic function, which ends a phrase. There are two types, like I said, of these, and labeling something as just an authentic cadence is not good enough. We need to actually go one step further into the specifics, and that's what the next two videos are going to cover. Thank you.